Presidential hopeful Joe Biden doing fewer campaign events than most of his rival Democrats. Last night was his first event in 10 days. And some interesting new research on the most diverse field in history. Let's bring in the host of Left Coast News, Ethan Behrman, and Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell to discuss. So nice to be with you guys in person here in L.A.
Great to see you,
I can really referee if it gets crazy. I'm right here with you.
Bring the boxing gloves, Ethan.
Okay, so I think it's going to be civil. I want to read a little bit from, this is a quote of Biden campaign advisors. It says, with near universal name recognition and high favorability ratings among Democrats, the former vice president does not need to introduce himself to voters like nearly every other candidate. And as the leader in early polls, he can attract media attention without splashy events. So, Gianno, why would he venture out there any more than he needs to?
Well, I got one question for the Democratic candidate, Joe Biden. Has he learned anything from 2016? Hillary Clinton had a very similar strategy by thinking she didn't need to venture out into certain places. That's a form of elitism. If I were him, or if I was advising his campaign, I would say you should go into these towns like Ohio. You should be going into Pennsylvania. You should be going into these areas where there's Democratic voters that support President Trump. If you look at the numbers, manufacturing, 700% increase from President Obama's numbers. This is what President Trump has done for this economy. So these voters are going to be with him, and he needs to make a difference if he's trying to win for president.
And he has been hitting key states like that, like Pennsylvania, knowing that he's really got to go after the Rust Belt, the union folks, the blue-collar folks who really felt like President Trump gave them some hope after years of really struggling. Vanity Fair writes this, is the Biden campaign trying to hide the real Joe Biden? So what's up with Joe? Could a general lack of excitement, a sense that Biden is the safe candidate, be a harbinger of a late cycle upset? Biden, far from promising a break with the past, has based his entire candidacy on the promise of a restoration. When Democratic voters are less than enthused, as they were with Michael Dukakis, Al Gore, John Kerry, and yes, Hillary Clinton, they tend to lose.
Well, Joe Biden has the monster name recognition that we know. He's so far ahead in the polls. It's so early. The primaries are so far away. This is actually a very intelligent strategy on the part of Joe Biden. We know who he is. We know what he has done for this country. We know we've given up so much of his life in public service, even through his personal tragedies. He should preserve his war chest as much as possible, preserve that energy, wait for the field to winnow down. See, you know, Senator Warren is starting to climb through the polls. Bernie Sanders is kind of flat right now. And we'll see what happens with Senator Harris and Mayor Pete as well. And then he can focus his energy on those
won't be enough in this contest. It certainly won't. When you consider what has happened with the economy, you wonder, what are you going to really restore? What are you offering? And that's the problem with the Democratic field. There's no cohesiveness when it comes to messaging.
I want to ask you guys about this because I thought that was so interesting. Politico had some research that was done by a Princeton fellow and a UNC political science professor, and they went out and did research on what Democratic voters want. They favored female candidates over male, minority over Caucasian white candidates out there. They said that's what they want, but we continue to see the polling is Bernie and Biden.
Right.
So why is that, Ethan?
Well, it's clear because Biden, again, we know Senator Harris, while we might know her here in California, is not known outside this state. She would have to she needs to spend, well, basically hundreds of millions of dollars to get the name recognition to reach those voters. We know Joe. We've known him his whole life. We've known him our whole lives, for that matter. And so it's a safe and comfortable choice. Unlike Hillary, where a lot of us actually had reservations going into the 2016 campaign, there are a handful of Democratic voters who do have reservations about Joe Biden, but overall, we know him.
10 seconds.
They need a messaging campaign. I did a poll on Twitter and Instagram where people said they were with them regardless of any obstruction claims. So they need a messaging campaign because it's not working out for them right now. We don't know what they stand for.
All right, look, no fisticuffs. So proud of you, gentlemen. Great to see you both.
Thank you.
All right, President Trump.